Hello for the 26th week of the year, September 26, 27. The first reading from the book of Numbers 11:25 to 29 and the Gospel of Mark 9:38 to 43. Are you tired of hearing about the Pope or watching the Pope on TV yet? There certainly has been a lot. And I bet you many of us are, or many of us aren't. But I'm sorry, I got a little Pope homily. And that is from the readings immediately after he gave his talk in Congress to the Senate and the House. I read it, and two things really popped out at me. Two sentences, sort of. One from Numbers and the other from the Gospel. And from Numbers, God gives his spirit to Moses and so forth, and it says this: taking some of the spirit that was on Moses, the Lord bestowed it on the 70 elders, and they began to prophesy. And then in the Gospel, Jesus himself says, whoever is not against us is for us. And I happen to feel like that's the spirit of our Pope. Looking to the whole world, whoever is not against us is for us. And he certainly radiates to me the Spirit of God, or the Spirit of Jesus. And I feel that way because in that talk to the senators and all of our representatives, the congressmen, he was able to take 4 Americans and sort of say, this is what I sort of see that is the guts of our Constitution, or the guts of your country. And he uses Abraham Lincoln, Dorothy Day, Martin Luther King, and Thomas Merton. Of course, everybody knows about Abraham Lincoln and how he dealt with freedom and freeing the slaves, and perhaps he's considered our deepest and our best president by many. Not as many people knew the gal from New York, Dorothy Day, who founded the Catholic Worker. I mean, she lived in, when was her dates? 1897 to 1980. And she was for social justice, and she fed the poor. Totally, in our country, in line of what Francis preaches, Christ taught. Martin Luther King with the racial equality, and all brothers and sisters, is part of our nation. And as many people say, well, if anybody's a saint, maybe not in the Roman Catholic Church as such, like Junipero Serra, our new one, but Martin Luther King really preached the message of Jesus Christ. Love your neighbor as yourself. And before God, we are all God's children, equal. And then, to my surprise, was Thomas Merton. He only lived 53 years. He died in 1968. And he attributed to Thomas Merton the ability of great, deep spirituality and a dialogical process, that he was able to transcend the aisle, to have letters to different people in the world, in our country, all about the goodness or the evils of war, or the evils in himself, the evils in ourselves. And he was able to dialogue with people, and much was attained. And then I thought, the Pope took 4 people, and 2 out of the 4 were Kentucky people. How proud I was to sort of just realize that. In our midst, in our state, 2 dynamic characters that really is to help leading to the kingdom of God. That's sort of what hit me in his talk. And then after the talk, he left and he went up or went out on the balcony. And because of the many people out there, and he said very little. But as usual, what he said when he was elected Pope, the first thing is, pray for me. Pray for me. But what hit me was he said, and I know many of you might not be able to pray to God for me because your belief or your attitude or outlook. He says, but just keep me in your heart and wish me well. Somehow this man is able to transcend and bring people together in unity in the goodness of our country, the goodness of the world and creation, and let us work together, be together, forgive one another. And it's basically the message of Yahweh in the Old Testament or Jesus in the New Testament. Yes, we are connected in creation of God. We are connected in God Himself. We are created in and through Jesus Christ. Relationship. We're not called to just condemn, fight, destroy, not forgive, but we're connected in a good world. In this world's, I think, greatest country. And not just all negative, the black dot, or the black speck, or the evil. Thank God that we have Pope Francis. He gives me new hope, new drive, and new insight into the church in which we live. Have a good day.